Welcome, welcome. Tag and share, share and tag. 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 Good day to you wherever it is, whatever time it may be. Almighty, we thank you for this moment that is transcendent. Your will is done in us, with us, and through us. Thank you for revelation, transformation, evolution, and ascension. In Yeshua's name, Christ consciousness, it is so, so it is. Tag and share, share and tag. 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 When you've tagged or shared, just let me know I've tagged, I've shared. Just let me know when you've done it. Let me know when you've done it. So glad to be on with you this evening. I have some wonderful, something special to discuss with you. Something special to discuss with you. That's why you should always tune in, because you never really know what I'm going to talk about. Knowledge Revolution with Dr. A.G. Green Sr. Come on. Come on in here. Come on in here. Tag and share, share and tag. Tag and share, share and tag. And of course, give as many likes and hearts as you possibly can. Thank you for tuning in, whether it's live or in replay. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I have something special I want to discuss with you tonight. Text it, tweet it, put it on Instagram, Twitter, wherever it is. You have a presence, Discord, wherever. There's all kinds of places out there now. It's almost challenging to keep up with all these social media outlets. But I have something special I want to discuss with you tonight. Let me know when you've shared or just say I shared. You can just say I shared or just type shared when you've shared it on your timeline. Let me see if I can look at to my right here. Going to start in a couple of minutes. I want to give a couple more people time to get on. I did start later than I normally do when I do Knowledge Revolution, which is our form of studying truth, studying the Bible. Got my tea here to my left. I'm going to take a little sip, and then we're going to get it going. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. This is lemon and ginger tea. It's been a while since I had some good stuff. Lemon and ginger. Can you see me and hear me well? 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 Let me see if I can put something up while we're on here together. Let's see here. Guess I can't do it because I didn't convert it. So good. Y'all ready to get going? Ready to get going? Ready to get going? Let me know if you're ready. But before we go further, I must remind you, as I always like to do, that you are made in the image and the likeness of God. You and the I am are one. You're God class. You're God species. You're the offspring of God. You're one with God. You possess incredible, enormous power. Matter of fact, you are and were fearfully and wonderfully made. Therefore, you're not powerless. You are powerful. And I want you to feel it. I want you to own it. I want you to say it. As you're typing it, I am powerful. Come on, type it in the comment section. I am powerful. Come on, type that in the comment section. I am powerful. Come on, type that in the comment section. I am powerful. Come on, type it in the comment section. I am powerful. I'm powerful. I'm powerful. I'm powerful. I'm powerful. Come on, I want to see it come up. I want to see somebody type it. I am powerful. I am powerful. I am powerful. That's it. I am powerful. No matter what's going on, no matter how I feel, no matter what three-dimensional conditions look like, no matter what my emotions might be telling me, no matter what other people might be saying to me, I declare and decree and decree and declare that I am powerful. Genesis 1:14. We're just going to give you a few texts and then I'm going to get into my presentation on tonight. Yes, I am powerful. That's right. Continue to tag and share with people and share and tag with people. Tag people. I said with people. Tag people. I'm getting ready to get started tonight. Can you see me and hear me well? Make sure you let me know. I haven't received any feedback. Can you see me and hear me well? And does my voice sound normal? If you ever hear that drag in my voice, please let me know. That means that the bit rate is too slow, and I need to go off and come back on. So let me know if you can see and hear me well by just letting me know that you can. That way I'll know that everything is good. At some point in time in the future, these videos can be recycled, edited, and placed in different places online. And if the sound isn't right, I have to delete it. I can't even keep the message or the teaching, no matter how good it is. If the sound isn't right, I can't keep it. So always let me know if I don't sound normal so that I can just, go off and come back in and make that correction. All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to start with Genesis 1:14 purposely. I'm not going to use a lot of biblical text tonight, but I want to discuss with you about the power of the supermoon, the power of the supermoon. Has anybody heard of the supermoon before? I know these are not subjects that are typically discussed in certain circles, but I'm me, so I'm going to talk about it. Anybody know what a supermoon is? Anybody ever heard of a supermoon before? Talk back to me, yes or no. Let me know. Talk back to me, family. Anybody heard of a supermoon before? That's a yes or no. There's no right or wrong answer. Okay, we got a no. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? Thank you for the honesty there. There is no right or wrong answer. I'm just asking a question. This is just a simple question. All right. So somebody heard in reference to a movie. Okay. All right. Beautiful. So you all are some of the select people who are going to get a chance to receive some education on the supermoon and its connection to us. And I've been talking about self-love when I'm on during the week, but in light of the supermoon, I want to begin that conversation with you tonight. So I'm going to make a couple of changes on my screen right quick so I can put up a graphic here and you'll be able to, for the time being or for the moment, let's see, let me try. Where's that other layout here? switch the layouts right quick. Well, we'll work with that one for a minute. Let me know. I know you can't read all of it. I'm going to read it for you. But this is my diagram that I'm going to be using tonight and give you an example, an explanation of what a supermoon is and how it applies to us. Would somebody do me a favor and post? If you see the flyer on Facebook, I need a couple of people to do me a favor and go to your Instagram page and post it. Maybe we'll pull up a few people from Instagram as well. You could even tag me in it on Instagram. Tag me in it. You can take that same flyer that's on the page now, download it to your phone, re-upload it to Instagram or wherever it is, but definitely Instagram, and tag me in it. Make sure you tag me. I certainly would appreciate it. So as you can see on the screen here, I give the definition to what a supermoon is, but let's go to Genesis 1:14 first of all. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years." So these lights that are mentioned in the Judaism creation story, this is the Judaism creation story, is referring to the sun and moon. And remember, many religions have their own creation story. Don't be shocked that most of them are similar in nature. The Judaism's creation story has two lights, great lights, which we know today as the sun and the moon. And most everybody who's been to school knows that the moon reflects the light of the sun. We also know that the earth and the moon revolve around the sun. So those are pretty basic, astronomy lessons or astronomical or astronomy information. So I'm going to, for just the next few minutes before I get into the supermoon, help you to understand that the sun and the moon have more of a role than just giving us light. They have more of a role in just contributing to life on the planet. And I'll kind of vaguely touch on that tonight. But there is spiritual symbolism, all right? There is also not just spiritual symbolism, but there is spiritual and mental, or there are spiritual and mental influences that the sun and the moon have on us. Thank you for guiding us, Yeshua, by Yeshua's name, by Christ consciousness, amen. So recognize and know that they're not just there to give us light, and they're not just there to provide life for three-dimensional creatures or life for just flesh. There's always something deeper as it relates to the sun and the moon that we should always keep in mind as spiritual people. And I know there's a lot of superstition out there as it relates to the sun and the moon. And sometimes people even get into worshiping the elements. That's not what this presentation is about. But this presentation is about helping you to become more aware of your conscious connection to all things, especially nature, and your conscious connection to the sun and the moon and how it impacts your life every day. So I read from Genesis 1:14, and I'm going to be looking to my right because on my other computer I have some notes here from the sermon I did years ago. When we see in Genesis 1:14, it talks about the lights in the expanse of heaven. I used a different translation in my notes, but it says, "Let there be lights in the firmament." It's talking about the expanse of heaven. And then it talks about, of course, it separates the day from the night. And in the King James Version, it tells us it's going to be for signs and for seasons. Let's break down the word signs and seasons right quick. So these lights, the sun and the moon, the inspired Judaistic writer or Hebrew writer wrote, believed to be Moses, says to us it's for signs and for seasons. Now, I want to debunk some westernization or some Western hermeneutical concepts or Western interpretations of what seasons are, because we just think it's, as it uses the word season for us in English, that is just relating to our four, seasons or the seasons that are related to our weather. And I'm not saying that isn't the case. That is only partially the case. The deeper meaning behind that is found in the definition of these Hebrew words used for signs and seasons. So the word signs come from a word in Hebrew, oath. Oath. It's a word that means miraculous sign, omen, or warning. Miraculous sign, omen, or warning. And of course, it is signifying to us that the Creator has created these bodies of light, to communicate to us, to, in a sense, talk to us, in a sense, empower and enlighten us. All right. So these lights are not just hung in our universe or in our sky, as we would say, just to give us photons, just to give us light, but they're there also to indicate signs. Now, I'm not going to get into all of the scriptures I have written here, but if you've read Old Testament texts along with New Testament texts, you'll realize that the Hebrews, the Jews, as depicted in the Old Testament, created their festivals, or their festivals were created around the sun and the moon. Their calendar is also created around the sun and the moon. Some civilizations' calendar is only created around the lunar cycles, but the Jews or Hebrews created their calendar around both the sun and the moon. So the revelatory context is that the sun and the moon have a greater role to play in communicating divine concepts, divine things, divine moves, divine influences, even prophetically. So that's why their feasts and festivals were centered around where they projected the sun and the moon, specifically in some cases where the moon would be at a specific time in the year. They're not the only people who have set up their festivals like that. Other religions have done it as well. So remember, when it says signs, it's talking about something miraculous. It's talking about an omen or even a warning. The word seasons is from a Hebrew word, moed. It's really translated as appointed time or divine appointment. Appointed time or divine appointment. This is significant. It's especially related to sacred seasons or feast days, as we discuss the connection with the Judaistic calendar or the Jewish calendar. Listen to this as it relates to this word seasons. So again, divine or appointed time. Again, from our Western concept, we think seasons just means, spring, summer, fall, and winter. No, seasons in the context of a spiritual and metaphysical book is referring to divine appointments. Divine appointments or appointments with the divine, appointments with the Creator, appointments with God, all right? Appointments with the spiritual, appointments with something greater. Now, the same Hebrew word Moed is translated in English in Leviticus 23 as the word feast, the English word feast, which refers to the feast of the Lord. So it is basically telling us from Leviticus 23 that God has scheduled to move at appointed times. So the sun and the moon don't just give us light, they don't just provide us with life on the planet. They are also indicators of divine appointments. They're indicators, let me backtrack, of signs, miracles, warnings, and divine appointments. So let's see how we can shorten that. Let's see. Let me try and type here and get this cord out the way. Signs and divine appointments. I want you to type that in the comment section. I hope I spelled it correctly. Signs and divine appointments. Signs and divine appointments. So, family, listen to me real clearly. When science has a difficult time acknowledging the usefulness of these two lights of the sun and the moon beyond its physical contribution, we as spiritual people have to know that there is a greater significance behind why they exist. Okay? They are representations of the Creator as we are representations of the Creator, but they are always involved, designed to be involved in a physical, spiritual, and metaphysical sense in the lives of all spiritual beings who possess a soul and live in a body and inhabit terra firma, this place that we call Earth. All right. So I wanted to get that out of the way. So let's look at SuperMoon. SuperMoon. So, and in your own time, you can look at, Psalms 81:3. You can look at Joel 12:31. The Bible talks about blood moons or the moon turning into blood. That's really a blood moon. The moon is not going to literally turn into blood. But notice how the state of the moon or the color of the moon, the presence of the moon, how the moon looks is believed to be connected to some apocalyptic events. You can read Genesis 37:9 and read Luke 1:25. These are just references to the sun and the moon. So I don't know how well you can see the chart, but I'm going to help you with it. So the term supermoon refers to a full or new moon rising near or while the moon reaches perigee, its closest distance to the Earth, in its orbit around the sun. So basically, it is describing the proximity of the sun, of the moon, to the Earth, the moon to the Earth. So a supermoon simply means the moon is closer to the Earth than it normally is. Now, what's unique about a supermoon? This supermoon that we are about to experience tonight on the 30th of August, it's also what's called a blue moon. A blue moon. Okay. So number one, a supermoon is rare. Statistically, NASA says 25% of all moons are supermoons, but only 3% are blue moons. So a blue moon is even more rare than a supermoon. So what is a blue moon? Basically, a blue moon is a moon, is the second full moon in a month, because typically each month only has, number one full moon. But this supermoon is not just a full moon, but it is a moon that is closer to the Earth, or is positioned closer to the Earth than the average full moon is. Okay. So recognize there are both astronomical and astrological implications whenever you see a full moon or a supermoon, even what we're not discussing tonight, a blood moon or a red moon. All right. So let me pause here for a few minutes and say, this. Many times, depending on what religious background you're from, but many Protestant backgrounds do not teach the connection we have as spirit beings with nature. We see ourselves separate and apart from creation. When I say nature, I mean all creation. All creation. The ether itself, the elements, sun, water, wind, all of these things, heat. We see ourselves as separate from the animal kingdom. We see ourselves as separate from the plant kingdom. What you don't understand is, number one, the same creator created us all. Number two, you're of this earth. That's why the same elements that are in your body are in this earth. All right. Most people don't understand that you have a direct connection with this earth, this planet, and of course, the universe itself. Some of these same elements, trace elements in your body, are also found in space. You are part of it, and it is a part of you. I know people haven't taught you that, but it's the truth. And when Christianity colonized other nations, specifically talking about Native Americans now, Africans in Africa, the first thing they tried to do was convert them as if they had an original belief system, which they didn't. And when those particular nationalities began to discuss their beliefs about nature, specifically being one with it, having an obligation to it, being connected with it, recognizing the symbiotic relationship with it, they were immediately discouraged from continuing to embrace it. And then it was labeled as paganism. It was labeled as pantheism. It was labeled as them trying to worship the elements, and it wasn't true. What they knew is what science, quantum physics, is confirming today. What the Native Americans knew in terms of them being one with the animal kingdom, one with the earth, one with the plant kingdom. When they killed an animal, they honored the animal after they killed it. They made sure that they did their best to not abuse the earth. And we said, well, they worshiped it. They didn't worship. They had a revelation that it was conscious. They had a revelation that it was alive. And so in the double slit experiment that was done years ago, it was determined that subatomic particles, atoms on a subatomic level, responded to observation. Meaning, last but not least, and one day I'll go over that in my presentation, they show sentience and they show consciousness on a subatomic level, which means that all levels above them have consciousness as well, from the atomic to the molecular level to the cellular level and above. Why am I saying that? What many of these religions had a revelation to understand in terms of their connection to nature, we didn't understand, because we were conditioned to believe that this natural thing and this natural order had a particular purpose, and if it didn't fit within the parameters or the description or the definition of what was given to us, then we became desensitized or ignorant to it. I must make it plain with you, as I have shared with you about you being one with God. I've also got to share with you that you and I are really one with nature. That's why it's peaceful for you to sit outside and look at trees. There's a connection you have with trees. Now, I don't like the bugs either. I can't vibe with the bugs now. I can't get with them. But watch this. That's why we have control and dominance over every species on this planet. It responds to us. It knows us on a deeper level. And one day I'll do maybe some more extensive teaching on that, because there's a level of consciousness that exists within everything in nature. I want you to hear me real clearly. So as a result of that, you don't pay attention to the elements. You don't pay attention to things around you. I did it for years. It's just like it didn't exist, except You know, if there was something catastrophic or dangerous or ominous that appeared to be going on, you know, in the earth, then I wanted to pay attention to it. I shouldn't say gravitated, excuse me. I got away from that. I was more connected to that in my youth, my teenage years. And as I got older, then my focus shifted from that to other things. So I want you to understand that this teaching helps you to understand that on the landscape of creation, within the context of creation, within the frame of creation, everything has a connection to other things. Everything is connected. I want to make that plain as I'm moving forward. So I'm going to start, I think it's to your left. Yes, I'm going to start with amplified energy. And let me see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from left to right on the chart. So you should be taking notes as I'm talking, because I'm not going to give you no steps at the end. I'm going to give you steps throughout this presentation. And give me a little bit longer tonight. I did start late because I can't do this in 2 parts unless I did it next month. Maybe I can't do it in 2 parts because there'll be another full moon next month. But I'm not sure. I don't think there's going to be a super moon. But we do have some super moons coming up. But this is the closest super moon we'll have, they say, until like 2052. All right. So this is a significant moment. So let me share with you what's happening in the cosmos right now. So as you look at amplified energy, and let me know if you can see that on the screen. You don't have to be able to see it completely because, as I said to you before, I'm going to read it to you. It basically says the moon is closer to the earth than usual and will shine brighter and longer. Therefore, more energy will enter and remain in the earth. So just as they taught us, and give me some likes and hearts to let me know you're still there. Are you listening? Because y'all quiet. Just as we've been taught that there are radio waves in the atmosphere that we can't see with the naked natural eye. Thank you for the likes and hearts. But they're present, but our eyes don't see on that spectrum, family, but they are present. Okay, number one. Ultrasound. You know what ultrasound really is? Ultrasound is sound that is beyond the hearing of humans. What we call ourselves as humans is beyond the hearing of our eardrums, the mechanism within our body that provides us with the ability to hear. Ultrasounds are frequencies that we cannot hear. So just as radio waves are in the air, microwaves are in the air and you cannot see, there's also sound and frequency in the air that you cannot hear. I'm doing some studying on sounds now, and I'm going to do some teaching on it in a few minutes. It's related to death and life is in the power of the tongue, but it's going to show you from a scientific, physical standpoint how what we speak and say and the frequency we speak and say it on, with, or on, or in tune with, masters everything in the ether, controls everything in the ether. So what I want you to understand is, repeating myself, just like there are frequencies, waves in the air we cannot see, sounds that we cannot hear, within those audio waves we cannot hear, or that are audio, they really say it's not a wave, it's a bubble. When I get into somatic frequencies, I'll tell you more about that. That comes out of your mouth. So while I'm talking, it's not a sine wave like you see on a graph. It is actually a sound bubble. All right. That's a discussion for another time. There are things we can't hear and there are things we can't see. These things we can't hear and see, guess what they're made of? Energy. They're made of energy. So right now, there's energy all around you. Your phone is emitting energy and power now that you can't see. Your television is receiving energy now that you cannot see. You yourself are a giant battery. You yourself are receiving energy and emitting energy. There's a lot of things that the Matrix taught us, but one thing people should have learned from the Matrix is, in doing your research and study, is that we are producers. We are biochemical. Our physicality is like biochemical machinery. It produces electricity. It has capacitive or capacitor type abilities, meaning that cells that transmit from the cell, top of the cell membrane, from one cell to the next, conducts electricity. Also has capacitance, meaning that it could store electricity. It also has the ability to discharge electricity. All right. So as we look at amplified energy during this super moon, family, because the moon is closer to the earth, that means there's more energy that's flooding the earth. So it's adding to the energy that's already existed and present in the earth, and it's adding to the energy that we are ourselves as spirit beings who possess a soul and live in a body. So there is more energy in motion. I want you to type it in the comment section, energy in motion. Type that in the comment section, energy in motion. Energy in motion. And emotion is energy in motion. Emotion is brain energy. It is cognitive energy, but it's flowing. It's flowing from within you. It's flowing from within your brain, within those parts of the brain. Once again, the brain, like the heart, is run by electrical impulses. It's down on the cellular level. Am I making any sense? So you are producing electricity now. You are producing energy now. But what you need to understand is that you're also absorbing energy. One of the reasons why skin cancer is an overexposure, not just to light, but an overexposure to energy. And when you lack the proper amount of pigmentation, which in a sense acts as a barrier, a protective barrier, then you are receiving an overload of energy. So again, your body absorbs energy, your body transmits energy. All right. So as it relates to this amplified energy, I want you to understand that we also have enhanced spiritual and mental energy while there's a super moon. So the atmosphere is now beginning tonight and over the next 2 or 3 days going to be charged with extra energy in the atmosphere. This energy is not just photonic. This energy is also going to stimulate you spiritually. It's going to stimulate you spiritually, and it's also going to stimulate you mentally. And I'm going to give you some signs that people physically deal with whenever there's a full moon or a super moon. So I want you to make yourself aware that there's more energy accessible to you now. I'm going to say it again. I want you to make yourself aware that there's more energy accessible and available to you right now. So we move across my diagram to amplified manifestation. So because of amplified energy, we now have amplified manifestation. Human beings are really spirited beings that are a collection of both material and immaterial substance. We are energy and vibrate at a certain frequency. Even our thoughts are energy, and we harness energy. Let me discuss that for a few minutes. This is all proven scientifically. Do you know that when they hook anodes or cathodes, whatever they call them, to your heart, and they can see it on an EKG, The EKG is interpreting the energy your body is emitting. That machine is designed to convert it into a sine wave type form. When they hook your brain up and they can see your brain waves, that is the interpretation of your thoughts, the processing or the flowing or the utilization of your brain or your brain in action. They are literally tapping into the energy flow, the blood flow, and on the cellular level, the electrical flow from cell membrane to cell membrane, okay? They're literally able to use devices to capture that, to see that. I need you to hear me. I'm trying to help you to understand. These devices prove that you are an energy being. You're an energy producing being. So what I want you to know is that all energy vibrates and all energy has frequency. I'm going to say it again. All energy vibrates and all energy has frequency. Lord, let me say this here. I was going to say this for when I get on this special talk about this special field that I'm going to talk to you about that relates to death and life being a power of your tongue. They're doing some experiments now over in the UK. They have discovered, listen to this. I don't want to give too much away. I was excited when I was researching the other day. They discovered, and they're developing a machine now to differentiate between the sounds of healthy cells and the sounds of cancer cells. In other words, they determined that cells make sounds and that cancer cells make sounds as well. And they're trying to use this technology. They're doing it in an experimental phase now. To the surgeon is literally has an apparatus they're creating where he can listen. It's in a what you call it, the experimental phase right now. They're using it in a limited capacity, where it helps them differentiate between what's cancerous in terms of the membrane, wherever it is that cancer is supposed to be, the healthy versus the unhealthy, or the cancer-ridden versus that which is healthy, because they say in some cases you can't tell the difference because the cancerous cells look the same in some instances as healthy cells. This is powerful, people. And you know, my mind went back. We thought it was literal and figurative when it talks about the God of the Old Testament saying how let's see, how Cain and Abel, y'all remember him? And how Abel's blood was crying from the grave. That literally brought back that to me. So if cancer cells make a sound, that means other cells produce sounds, including blood cells. This is wonderful. This is awesome. I don't want to get too deep. I don't want to get off on that. So everything vibrates at a frequency. Listen to this. So your thoughts and your images constitute your state of consciousness. Your state of consciousness is filled with what you think, what you believe, what you imagine. But once again, there is a transmission of energy from these thoughts. There's a transmission of energy from your imagination. Am I making any sense here today? All right. Emotions. You know how you could feel an emotion if you're angry and mad as hell, how you can feel that. But if you're as happy as they say as a lark, you can feel that. Let me tell you, yes, blood is flowing into certain areas. Yes, serotonin and dopamine is being released, but that's all energy. That's all representative of energy. Okay, so energy is flowing, family, whether you're sitting still or whether you're animated like I am right now. That is the flow of energy in you. So what I want to say to you is, as it relates to this amplified energy leading to the right side of the screen to amplified manifestation, what I want to share with you is you've got to be careful, because we can't just harp on the good things in terms of the energy that you can extract from the atmosphere or from the ether that's present now, and harness it and convert it for good, but I want you to also recognize that if you have negative thoughts, if you have negative emotions, if you have negativity in your images or pictorial representations in your mind, or your visualization is negative, meaning that you're constantly seeing yourself failing, you're constantly seeing yourself as not good enough. I want you to know that during this time, that too will be amplified in terms of manifestation. And really, I got amplified manifestation, but it should have been accelerated manifestation, because the amplified energy leads to amplified, accelerated manifestation. So you've got to be careful in this season, more so now than you usually are, with your thoughts. My goodness, I hope somebody's hearing what I'm saying today. So just like you can absorb that energy, have you ever been in a room? Have you ever been in a room and you could feel the energy of the room? Listen to me, family. So you came in happy and excited, and you stood or sat next to somebody that was down or depressed. Sometimes they never opened your mouth. You could feel it, and it had an impact on you. This is the example I want to give you as to how it wasn't just discernment, but your connection to them on a deeper level caused you to siphon or partake of the energy that they transmitted to you. I need you to hear what I'm saying, fam. So what I'm trying to tell you is that during this supermoon, creative energy, divine energy is in the air. And just like you can absorb a mood, absorb an attitude, absorb a negative vibe, absorb negative emotions, absorb a negative frequency from somebody else, I want you to understand that although there's an abundance and overflow of all this atmospherically, if you use it to amplify something that's negative, that's pessimistic, that's derogatory, that's self-defeating, then it's going to accelerate in its manifestation of the negative thing that you were thinking, the negative thing you were speaking, the negative thing you were feeling. I hope somebody's hearing what I'm saying today. I don't know if I'm going to get finished today. Let me get into brighter illumination. Let me see, brighter illumination. And then, yes, I'm doing good. Brighter illumination. So supermoons cast about 50% more light on the planet than when the moon is at its dimmest. Light will shine in places that are normally hidden. So during this supermoon, there's more light. I want you to type it in the comment section, more light. Type in the comment section, more light. Type that real quickly in the comment section, more light. More light. Matter of fact, I want you to know that the sun and the stars in many religions, the sun and the stars are symbolized as meaning illumination. They are associated with illumination literally and metaphorically. Literally and metaphorically. So symbolically, the moon represents the illumination of knowledge and wisdom, shining a light on our path that helps us to navigate through light. So this natural light, family, should also bring spiritual light or spiritual illumination. Watch this. And it should shine in places. This supermoon, as I explained to you before, which is 30% brighter than normal, is going to illuminate some dark places in this earth that during this time in the evening normally could be seen under the cloak of darkness. But when the light shines brighter, darkness has to be chased away. So that leads me to the right side of the chart that says revelation and intuition. Revelation and intuition.
So listen to this. The moon is symbolic in many cultures for illumination, feminine energy, protection, and romance. With the increase of both physical and spiritual light, there will be enhanced clarity and intuition. Enhanced clarity and intuition. So watch this. Let me get into feminine energy right quick, because some of y'all don't even know what that is. Mental or you don't know what male or female energy is, masculine or feminine energy is. Okay. I want you to understand that feminine energy is associated with femininity and motherhood, but everybody has feminine energy. It basically represents nurturing, being intuitive, and the emotional aspects of ourselves. This is what it represents, where the moon is believed to also represent feminine energy. So as this light is shining and illuminating, I want to pause here for station identification to say to you, maybe it's time for you to consider focusing on nurturing yourself. Maybe the light is hitting you tonight to say you don't love you enough. Maybe it's hitting you enough in the place to say it's time for you to care for you in a better way. Maybe it's hitting in the next 2 to 3 days to cause you to self-reflect on who you are, where you are, and more importantly, why you are. Why you are. I want you to hear what I'm saying real clearly. During this time, and I left it off on the Amplified Manifestation, I want to add this though on the brighter illumination, on the revelation and intuition. It's time for you to take advantage of this powerful creative force, these powerful creative energies, these energetic floods that exist today, to expand your focus and your intent in a way that is more constructive and not destructive. It may be a time for you to take this revelation and intuition that's sending forth powerful information in a revelatory sense to bring transformation. That's another symbolic meaning of the moon, transformation, because it shifts through different cycles or has a cyclical nature. Transformation is associated with the moon going through its many forms. And I'm telling you right now, this is an opportunity for you to start afresh with yourself. This is an opportunity for you to take advantage of opportunity. This is an opportunity for you to be more focused and intentional about whatever it is you desire, whatever it is you want to do, whatever it is you want to undertake in life. My God, today. This might be the time to take that extra energy that's shining in some of the dark crevices of your heart and deal with that inner resistance and deal with that inner turmoil. There's great revelation and intuition in this moment if you just absorb it, if you just accept it, if you just receive it, if you just apply it. Am I making any sense to anybody here today? Talk back to me, family. Y'all quiet. I see no likes and hearts. Y'all quiet. Are you getting anything so far? Are you getting anything so far? I want you to understand that the exponential increase of this energy is for a greater purpose than just having more physical light. And I showed you in scripture how the sun and the moon in Genesis, and I gave you the Hebrew words for that, signs, miraculous omens, signs in the word seasons, how it discusses divine appointments. It's not just, for us to measure weather or 4 seasons. No, it's deeper than that. There are messages, divine messages that are coming to us every day, but we become desensitized to it because somebody didn't teach you of your connection and oneness with everything in creation. These are scientific things that I'm talking to you about right now. There's a flood of light, there's a flood of energy, powerful energy from the source that is available to you and to me right now. The next thing at the bottom left of your screen that you probably can't see because it's behind me, yes, is increased tide activity. Increased tide activity. Let me make sure I got everything under revelation and intuition. See and discern, change and transformation. Yes, yes, yes. Oh. It also means to clean and purify, to let go. To clean and purify, to let go. This is a time where a lot of people are doing some internal reflection and they're purifying and cleansing themselves. What is it in your heart that needs to be purified and cleansed? And then I'm going to ask you another question. What is it that you need to let go of? Lord have mercy. It's really quiet here. What is it that you need to let go of? My, I felt something go through me when I said that. What is it that you need to let go of? What is it that you're holding on to? That even now what I'm saying is a confirmation that you need to release it. Who am I talking to here today? Who is this talking to? Who is this referring to right now? This is a time where if you did not have the energy and the strength before, the energy and the strength is here right now. This is the time if you need to make a change to shift into that change. Because the return on your faith is going to manifest quicker. The return on your move is going to manifest quicker. My God. Let me get to increased tide activity. The moon's gravitational pull on the earth, and it's also vice versa, combined with other tangential forces, causes Earth's water, listen to this, to be redistributed, ultimately creating bulges of water on the side closest to the moon and the side farthest from the moon. And basically what they're saying is, and this is I got this from NASA, they're saying that the moon affects the tides. The moon affects water. All right. So with this extra energy, and scientists say they don't expect much of a change because we've got more energy being flooded into the earth and more light, and because the moon is closer. But the moon affects the ebb and flow of water in the earth. All right. It affects the ebb and flow of water, which means it has a direct connection, listen to this, to what happens with 70% of the planet, because the earth is 70% water. Now, I want you to consider this. And I'm going to show you something in a few minutes. Look across the diagram there under mood shifts. There it is. Somebody already said it. So if the moon can impact 3/4 of the world, which is basically water, light and energy impacts brain chemistry in such a way that both mental and physiological functions can be impacted by the moon. When I say light and energy, I mean light has energy. More light, studies show, brightens mood. Less light, study shows, diminishes or decreases mood or decreases the state of mind. Now watch this. If the tides can be affected by water, then people who are made of 70% water can also be influenced by the moon. So here we go. Now watch this. Let me give you this, what I'm getting ready to read. I'm quoting from the National Library of Medicine, the National Center for Biotechnology Information. Then I'm going to take you to another source of information that shows you several impacts that is believed that the moon, especially a full moon that is, has on people. This article is written by Michael Zemecki. He basically said human and animal physiology are subject to seasonal, lunar, and circadian rhythms. It's really called the lunar effect. Okay, they are subject to seasonal, lunar, and circadian rhythms. Although the seasonal and circadian rhythms have been fairly well described, little is known about the effects of the lunar cycle on the behavior and physiology of humans and animals. The lunar cycle has an impact on human reproduction, in particular fertility, menstruation, and birth rate. Melatonin levels appear to correlate with the menstrual cycle. Admittance to hospitals and emergency units because of various causes, cardiovascular and acute coronary events, variceal hemorrhage, diarrhea, urinary retention, correlated with moon phases. Okay. It's correlated with moon phases. In addition, other events associated with human behavior, such as traffic accidents, crimes, and suicides, appear to be influenced by the lunar cycle. Okay, now I'm going to stop there. He basically goes on to say, I'm going to summarize it. He says, there are a number of reports find no correlation. So we got reports that find some correlation. We got other reports that say there is no correlation. And he goes on to say, animal studies reveal that the lunar cycle may affect hormonal changes early in phylogenesis. In fish, the lunar clock influences reproduction and involves the hypothalamus pituitary gonadal axis. I'm not going to read the rest of it because you'll be bored by it. So what I want you to, there's a couple of key words in this article. Circadian rhythms. Lord have mercy. I don't even want to get into that because it's a subject that's so deep. But basically, circadian rhythms are physical, mental, and behavioral changes that follow a 24-hour cycle. So these natural processes respond primarily to light and dark and affect most living things, including animals, plants, and microbes. So basically this, listen to this. Every cell in your body, every molecule in your body has a clock in it. This article says nearly every tissue and organ contains biological clocks. These biological clocks, watch this, these circadian rhythms is your biological clock that impacts your whole body. It is the master clock of your whole body. It can control your hormones being released. It controls your eating habits and digestion. It controls your body temperature. Did you hear what I just said? Check this out. Changes in our body and environmental factors can cause our circadian rhythms and the natural light-dark cycle to be out of sync. For example, mutations or changes in certain genes can affect our biological clocks. I can go on and on. I don't want to bore you with the rest of that. So the lunar effect or the moon has an impact on our circadian rhythms, which can throw everything off in our bodies. I'm making a case because there are folk out there who want to make you think that the moon and the full moon in particular doesn't have an effect on the human physiology and the human body, but it does. And it's not just a negative effect as I have described to you. It is a positive effect. So during this season, I'm warning you that your brain chemistry, as I just explained, your physiology could be potentially disrupted because of this extra energy that's in the atmosphere now. And I repeat, it's dark where most of you all are watching me now. You're looking out your window like my window is open and it looks dark, although the light from the moon is shining. But there's the energy that is flooding this planet, and it is flooding me physically and flooding me soulishly. I want you to understand it can and will, if I don't establish control, have either a negative or a positive impact on my brain chemistry, my circadian rhythms, my master clock. So during this season, good emotions can be amplified. Negative emotions can be amplified. Don't be shocked if you have or experience a pendulum of emotions, meaning that your emotions are going like this, up and down, up and down. One moment you seem to be extremely, satisfied. The next moment you seem to be extremely dissatisfied. One moment you seem to be optimistic. And the next moment your thoughts shift and now you're feeling less optimistic. You're feeling closer toward hopeless. Mood swings. Mood swings. Some of y'all have been having mood swings. You've been having mood swings. Okay. Now, what I left out in my presentation is, and I know some of y'all study this stuff, but I don't want to get too deep into it because I'm not, some of this stuff is not astronomy. Some of this stuff is astrological, and astrology is not a science. It's not a science, excuse me. Yes, Elder Christian Harris. Matter of fact, seasonal affective disorder, which is the changing of the seasons, which has a lot to do with the amount of light that comes in the earth, how long there's daylight and how long there's sunlight, does impact bipolarism. These things are scientifically proven. But some of y'all are going back and forth like a pendulum. You feel good, and then you don't feel so good. You feel happy, then you don't feel so happy. Okay? That extra energy is magnifying your thoughts, your images, and your emotions. Some of your minds seem to be running out of control in certain areas of your life. It's because that extra energy is in the atmosphere. Now listen to this. I'm gonna show you a few things. I'm gonna show you a few things that they believe that that happened during a full moon. I'm gonna share a few things that they say happened during a full moon. These things, studies have been done on what I'm getting ready to share. Menstrual cycles are affected during full moon. A study in 2011 showed the evidence of a full moon affecting the periods of women 16 to 25 years old. All right. They're still exploring why. But I read an article that said in the ancient world, it was recorded that during full moons, all the women who were in like the same villages or in same proximities will have their periods reset to come in sync with each other during a full moon. I know this sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, this stuff is documented. Sea turtles like to lay more of their eggs when there's a full moon. Watch this. More babies are born when there's a full moon. A recent study has shown that the gravitational pull of the moon may have something to do with the amount of births. Statistics have shown a high rate of babies being born on or around the supermoon. They say it's still unexplainable, but the numbers don't lie. Another thing, you might find yourself being sleepless. Your sleep gets worse. One study that monitored brain activity on sleeping participants showed that it took longer to fall asleep during a full moon than during other phases of the moon, and also found less brain activity related to deep sleep and shortened sleep times all around. Wow. Okay, all associated with a full moon. Do you know that in a full moon, birds communicate differently? I ain't gonna even get into that. Do you know during a full moon, emergency rooms heat up? Many ER doctors think that the full moon really does have an effect on the number of patients admitted, as well as the strangeness of the injuries they see. This happens during a full moon. Crime goes up during the full moon. So do you see the impact of this negative energy, this extra energy in the air? How people are using it for positive and negative. I don't see no likes and hearts. Am I making a decent case so far? I had to give you a brief presentation. I got to get off here. But have I made a decent case so far? I'm showing you now from things that are documented of how a full moon and even a super moon has an impact on the psyche of people. Watch this. Multiple studies have found higher crime rates during full moons. Higher crime rates. Number 8, I already discussed this. Moods change. Moods change. Research has shown that the moon's gravitational pull may very well be responsible for messing with our emotions. Those with unstable personalities or personality disorders may be extra sensitive to the moon's pull. Come on now, family, hear me real clearly. I'm connecting all the dots for you. I'm almost done. recovery speeds up during a full moon. Did you see that? So that means physical healing. One study found that patients who had to undergo emergency heart surgery recovered faster when they got their surgery on or near a full moon, and that they had a higher rate of survival. In this study, surgery patients during full moons were able to leave the hospital 4 days sooner than those that got the surgery during a different phase of the moon. Yeah. And then last but not least, they say predators are less active during a full moon. So I know we've watched these werewolf movies and, they turn on the full moon and eat up everything, but that's not really true to nature. So these are just a few things I shared with you in terms of how the full moon, and in this case, a supermoon, has an impact on you. So now let me give you some pointers here. I'm gonna give them to you off the top of my head to help you maximize and harness. Remember, I told you, even down on a cellular level, our cells transfer electrical impulses from ions to protons from one cell to the next. We have capacitance ability. My first degree is in electronic engineering. A capacitor stores energy. Your cells have the ability to store energy, but capacitors also have the ability to discharge. So what I'm trying to share with you from the facts that I've shown to you tonight, that you have the ability to be a better version of yourself or a worse version of yourself during this super moon period. It's not just closer to the earth just to be closer. It's not just closer to the earth because it is not in its regular elliptical pattern. That's not the case. I believe it is closer to the earth to charge you and I as spirit beings who possess souls and live in a body, who live in biochemical, electrical states, to be able to take advantage of God power and God light, to amplify the good, to cleanse ourselves, to be restored, to be clear and concise, to operate in revelation knowledge, to be more intuitive, to tap into your God self, your God being. Am I making any sense to anybody? To flow as God intends for you to flow. It is a jolt and a boost of both physical, spiritual, and mental energy. So number one, I hope somebody's writing this down because I don't have no notes. It's just coming to me while I'm talking. Number one, somebody put number one. I don't see Chris on tonight, so somebody else gonna have to take notes for me. Number one, here we go. Number one, pay closer attention to your thoughts and feelings. Number one, pay closer attention. Somebody type it. Number one, pay closer attention to your thoughts and feelings. I don't see my Chris on tonight. Somebody can put it on. Number one, pay closer attention. There she is. To your thoughts and feelings. This is not a time to be reckless. This is not a time, to act like something is not going on inside of you. You're living in a state where there's extra energy that's directly impacting your state of consciousness and your state of being. And if you continue to go and flow as you've normally gone and flowed, you're going to find yourself manifesting predicaments and situations quicker than before. Because this energy is being converted within you, utilized and accessed, whether you're doing it consciously or unconsciously. Pay attention. So if your mind is in a dark corner too long, then you need to take steps to counteract that. Take steps to counteract those dark thoughts. Let me give you number two. Let me give you number two. Number two, put your body in motion. Put your body in motion. I'm going to explain what that means in a few minutes. Put your body in motion. What that simply means is this. Do you realize that when you move, you're generating energy? So if your mind is in a dark place, do you realize studies have shown that people who exercise consistently, even if they're struggling with depression, they do better with depression? You know why? Because the blood is flowing and it's creating an energy within themselves that is combating the stagnant negative thoughts, the stagnant negative energy they normally possess when they're in that negative state. It releases also hormones and certain endorphins while you're exercising. So keep it moving. If you are the one who's concerned about magnifying and amplifying dark thoughts, dark images, or dark imagination, dark visualizations, then start moving. Get down and do 10. Walk around the block. Go to the park somewhere. Okay? Because you want to channel this energy properly, and you don't want to be dominated in this season. And matter of fact, we got another full moon coming up next month. It's not a super moon, but it's a full moon. But during these times that are high energy, once again, it can work for you or it can work against you. All right? That's number two. Number three. Number three. Number three. Be focused and intentional about what you desire. Number three. Be focused and intentional about what you desire. I'm going to say it again. Be focused and intentional about what you desire. I'm going to wait for Krista to put it up and then I'm going to highlight it. Be focused and intentional about what you desire. And when I say be focused, I mean when revelation and intuition kicks in, focus. Make sure you are focusing on what it is you want or desire or considering to do. And then once you have concluded or made up in your mind, be intentional. Now, see, what I didn't have a chance to get into today is what I've shared with you before is this. Again, I shared it at the beginning of the presentation. It has been proven scientifically, family, that your thoughts are not contained. They don't stay within your skull. They emanate. They transmit out into the universe. They transmit out into the world. That's why when you're in the presence of people, you know their thoughts because their thoughts are not self-contained. Their thoughts are transmitting all the time. And if you're sensitive enough to the connection you have with other people as a spirit being, you can pick up on what they're thinking. So I'm saying to you, be focused and intentional, because once you decide what it is, you're going to transmit it. It's coming right out of your head into the world. I ain't going to even get into the third eye today because some of y'all ain't ready to talk about that. But it is emanating from you. It is going out into the world. Then you're speaking it. So when you think it, it's transmitted. When you speak it, it's transmitted. Whatever you believe, negative or positive, is transmitted. I need you to hear what I'm saying. That's like a universal algorithm. That's like a universal algorithm that's so connected to what we think and what we feel that even when we don't say it, we manifest something based on what we've been thinking and based on what we've been feeling. And I'm saying you got to be extremely careful during this time because you're amped up. You have access to an overflow, I would say, an extra amount of creative, divine energy and force. So this is the time to put your faith in motion. This is the time to release your faith. This is the time to make a shift. Some of y'all been thinking about making a shift. There's a reason for that. because it's the season for that. It's the time for that. There's extra power available and accessible to you as a spiritual species, as a God class of species, as a God being who's connected with everything and has mastery over everything, to be able to flow freely. Am I making any sense to anybody? I don't see no likes and hearts. Let me see if I can give you one more. Let me see if I can give you one more. Is this making sense so far? Is this making sense so far? Is this making sense so far? Number four. Number four. You ready? Number four. Clean your spiritual and mental house. Type it. Come on. Number four. I'm going to wait for her to put it up. Clean your spiritual and mental house. Clean your spiritual and mental house. Clean your spiritual and mental house. That's number four. Let me see if she put it up here. There we go. This is the time. Listen to you. Some of y'all say, I just felt too weak. I just like I don't have the energy. It's like I just can't get it done. And I just, I feel so, helpless. And no. There's extra energy available. Now, it's time for you to introspectively reflect on what now means to you, on what now is for you. Watch this. In Hinduism, the moon is associated with the diva Shiva, representing the power of transformation and spiritual ascension. This is the time to clean house so you can go higher, to clean house so you can expand yourself, or expand your consciousness, to clean house. What that means is you might need to put out some old thoughts. You might need to put out some old images, old raggedy images, old broke down images, old broke down beliefs, old broke down concepts, old broke down walls, old broke down stereotypes. Come on now. Old broke down relationships, old broke down jobs. Come on now. Some of you all, this is a time. The moon with many people symbolizes the full moon and supermoon, the time for cleansing. Cleanse yourself with the help of God, with the help of the Almighty, with the help of the Creator. Open yourself up to your own mess. Open yourself up to your own limiting beliefs. Open yourself up to your own thoughts. Expose yourself to the raw you and do an inventory. Be meticulous and ask yourself, is this working? Is this working? Is he working? Is she working? Is that working? Is that attitude working? Is that funkiness working? Is that dress, code working? Is that vehicle working? Is that relationship working? This is the time to clean house. Did you hear what I said? I'm going to say it again. This is the time to clean house. Come on now. You know me. I'm very empathetic. Find what you find, family. Confront it and then get rid of it. You might need the help of a counselor. You might need somebody's help close to you. You might need my help. It doesn't matter. Confront it and then evict it. I'm going to say it again. Confront it and then evict it. Okay? Confront it and then evict it. Let me give you one more. Let me give you one more. Number five, because this is it. Number 5, seize your new beginning. That's number 5. Seize your new beginning. While you're operating with this surge of supernatural power, while you're operating with an expanded mindset and an expanded consciousness, while you're operating in a growing awareness, while you're operating in a growing connectivity, seize the moment. I'm waiting for it to come up. For your new beginning. There is no better time than now. I'm going to say it again. There is no better time than now. And if you've been listening to me long enough, you'll recognize And just Google it. Just listen to some of our great physicists. Listen to some of our great scientists. They're all in lockstep and concert with telling you that time is an illusion anyway. From a scientific, quantum physics, and philosophical point of view, everything is happening simultaneously or with simultaneity right now. We build in resistance because we use time as a factor, and then you misinterpret text as if God is putting you on a time schedule. You ain't on your time schedule, except you put yourself on a time schedule. This is your time. This is your time, as I'm using anthropomorphic expressions. This is your time within the construct of a creation of time. This is your moment. Seize it for a new beginning. A new beginning educationally. A new beginning romantically. That's right. The full moon is symbolic of new relationships, new romance. Come on here, somebody. The time is here, and the time is now for you to seize your moment. Seize the opportunity to absorb and extract from the divine, from the presence of God, everything that He is flooding your life with now, and make the change that's going to change everything for the better in your personal life. And I say this last but not least, this is not a step. This is just a caution. Understand that the greatest impediment and the greatest resistance that you could possibly experience in this moment is going to come from what you think, and it's going to come from what you believe. But if you exert your faith, if you take your faith and treat it with laser-like focus in this moment, you are going to see a quick change and a quick turnaround, and it always begins within. So yes, resistance can and will present itself, but know the greater one lives on the inside of you. And know and recognize that it is your birthright to conquer. It is your birthright to master. And it is your birthright to capitalize on your oneness with God and with all things. Wow. What y'all think? What y'all think? Did you get something tonight? Did you get something tonight? Did you get something tonight, family? I'm about to shut it down. Did you get something tonight? Talk back to me. I don't see no likes and hearts. I'll get back to my comments. Did you get something tonight? You're in a super moon. It's going to last for a couple of days. The effects will be residual. If you got on late, go back to the beginning where I broke some things down. This is a powerful spiritual moment. I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray for you. Just like you see biblically and in other texts, things are associated with the position of the sun and the moon, the states of the sun and the moon. The supermoon is purposeful. Purposeful. It's purposeful. And if you take advantage of it, listen to me, family, listen to me real clearly. If you follow these steps, if you apply this information, you're going to see and you're going to experience and you're going to witness within yourself first a change. I'm almost done. Like I said, I didn't want to get into, because I'm not an astrological guy, but I didn't want to get into Virgo and Pisces, the zodiac signs, and I didn't want to get into the 6 to 7 retrogrades. Some of y'all know about that. And astrology interprets from zodiac signs in the retrogrades. They interpret all kinds of things in concert with the supermoon. I just wanted to give you from the pure basis
of the supermoon itself, the emitting of the energy, its spiritual and physical photonic power, and how we are designed to absorb, to convert, to exercise, to utilize. And last but not least, it is a divine appointment. We got to stop overlooking divine appointments. We're educated, we have evolved, but the Creator put things in place for a reason. And we've got to stop being so superficial and cosmetic and recognize there are different levels of skin. And when you get into the deeper levels, you'll see the real functioning and operation and purpose behind it all. Love y'all. If you want to give tonight, you can use the giving opportunities at the bottom of the screen. Thank you. Were you blessed tonight? I saw a few comments. Let's see. Put some of your comments up. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on tonight. Did you learn something? Did it bless you? Did it empower you? I was intending to do a TikTok video on it. I was just too busy today. Did it bless you? Did it empower you? Did it strengthen you? Talk back to me. Let me see your feedback so I can put it up, and then I'm going to release you. Let y'all feel. Let me see. Who else? Who else? I'm going to pray, Almighty, I thank you for this time. We know that this supermoon is sign in season. It is an omen for divine appointment. And we exercise every iota of advantage, every iota of resources that you've made available to us. We connect with the divine. We are connected with all things. We are aware that this has been made available to us, and we cause it to work together for our good. And we give you praise, and we give you glory. In Yeshua's name, Christ consciousness, it is so it is. All right, I don't see no other comments. If you got on late, go back to the beginning. Appreciate you, love you with the love of the Lord. We release you with the shalom blessing. Shalom blessing. Shalom, shalom, peace, wholeness, and prosperity. Nothing missing and nothing broken. It is so, and so it is. Enjoy your evening.